This time we're using the English system. We know this. We know 12 inches is 1 foot. We know 1 yard is 3 feet. We know 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Do you remember that? 5,280. You learned that, didn't you? Back in the day? Probably middle school or something like that. All right, let's do a conversion. And let me find a good, here we go. Yeah, this is a good one. I didn't do this one in the other class, but this is a good one to use. 6,600 yards, and I want to see how many miles, question mark. How many miles is 6,600 yards? All right. So what do? We start off with the thing that we start with, 6,600. Oh, my zero. That looks weird. Let's try this again. 6,600. That looks better. All right. We put yards. What do we always do with that first thing? Put it over what? 1. Okay. Now we multiply it by a unit multiplier. We're trying to get rid of yards, and we're changing it to miles. Do we have a conversion that goes directly from yards to miles? We don't, do we? But I can change from yards to what? To feet. And then I can change from feet to what? Well, I don't want to go back to yards. I started with yards. I want to change to miles, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So if yards is on top, what am I going to put down here on the bottom? Yards. Good. And I want to change it from yards to, what do I know? Feet. So let's put feet on the top. Now I got to figure out which number am I going to put either on the top or the bottom. Well, they got to equal each other. All right? So how many feet, how many yards? 3 feet equals what? 1 yard. Could I put 1 foot and 3 yards? Wouldn't make any sense, would it? You're saying 1 foot equals 3 yards? No way. All right, so 3 feet does equal 1 yard. You with me on that? All right, now look what happens. The yards cancel each other out. Now I'm left with feet. But that's not what I want as my answer. I want to change it to miles. So guess what? I got to do it one more time, don't I? Everybody see that? So I'm not stopping here. I got to go one more time. I got feet on the top, so I put feet on the bottom. I'm going to change feet to miles, because look, I know how many miles equals how many feet. So what number do I put here with the miles? 1. And what number do I put with the feet? 5,280. You with me? All right. Now, oh, it sure is. You didn't tell me before it got to that. I think I might be able to go to 16. We'll see. All right, so watch. The feet cancel out. We'll finish this problem. Now, I can't do this in my head. I would use a calculator, and you get about 3. And I got a book in front of me, so I can cheat a little bit. All right, so it's 3.75 miles. If I take 6,600, multiply it by 3, then divide that by 5,280, I'll get 3.75. That's how many miles equals 6,600 yards. You with me? All right, let's pause this, and we'll move on to the next one.